Hello and welcome back to a yapping. Now this time I'm going to do some Swedish things. No, it's not the movie with Bill Murray. I haven't even seen that one, so it's nothing to do about that. But some things don't translate well between Swedish and English, and probably not to Spanish and German either. Well, perhaps Germany. Yeah. There are several things that we say in Sweden that can't be translated and understood at the same level. I have a friend. No, he's acquaintance nowadays, Mr. Killjoy. He usually says, instead of saying good question, he says good ask. I've used that. You know I've used that. And good ask for me is just as nice and funny. But for you, it sounds wrong. Only wrong and nothing but wrong. You can't say good ask. Well, when I translate ask to ask, that becomes att fråga. And if I say a question, that is in Swedish en fråga. It is the same word even if it's a noun or if it's a verb. So fråga becomes either ask or question. So becoming funny when you use good ask. Because it sounds like I am translating deliberately wrong. Now, me and Killjoy, we know exactly what we mean, but other people are suddenly just looking at us like, what did you just say? And if you say that in a Swedish sentence, it's even worse. We usually used to use that when we were out chatting, 20 years ago. Sorry. So, yeah. But that's one thing that's hard to translate when it comes to it. We also have a saying, well, I don't know many that uses it, but I use it. And the Swedish version is det är som det är när det inte blev som det skulle. And in translation it becomes, now get this wrong, it is what it is when it didn't became what it should. It's when you hear it, it sounds like, what? It is what it is when it didn't become what it should. But what should it be? But in Swedish it works. It works totally fine. It's no problem at all. You just wrap your head around it. Of course, if something happens, a situation or anything, or your education or whatever, suddenly it didn't become what it should. Because, of some things. But it is what it is still. So, and just saying it confirms that something has happened, but we don't talk about it anymore. But if I have to say it in English, I have to clear everything up, because most people don't understand. I also have, together with my girlfriend, my last girlfriend I had, we usually used a very strange sentence to use, but we usually used it both positively and negatively. I don't know if you can use it positively in English. Let's say, man får vad man förtjänar. You get what you deserve. Now, I've only heard it in English as a negative stuff. You get what you deserve. You are such a bad person, so that's why you are getting the bad things. But if you just turn it around and use it as a positive thing, you were such a good person, so you also got what you deserve. Whatever that might be. And every time we used it, we only used it in a positive way. Which of course makes people around us look at us as, what? You are idiots. You don't know what you're talking about. But we are. We knew what we were talking about. And it gets lost in that translation, even in Swedish. And finally, there is a song called Som sommaren, as the summer, with a guy called Gunnar Danielsson and his friend Pekanini. And inside there was a text, a lyrics that goes: En oundviklig sensmoral är bättre än en tom kartong. En minut av tystnad i 100 år är bättre än en dålig sång. That was for the Swedish listeners. You're not that many, I know. An inevitable moral of the story is better than an empty box. A minute of silence for 100 years is better than a bad song. Now that's poetry, right? I have still to confound myself with what the fork is he meaning with this, Mr. Danielsson? An inevitable moral of the story is better than an empty box. Anything is better than the empty box, right? What has that to do with moral? Or is it just for fun? Well, if you have heard the rest of the song and knows your Swedish, you most likely understand that he is trying to shorten his lyrics in a way that makes it more or less impossible to understand. He does that all the time. But he has a refrain that goes easy. As the summer, can it never be? As the summer, can it never be? It's so simple. But all the rest is totally jammed up in, I don't know. But then we have that second one. A minute of silence for 100 years, that's longer than a minute, right? Is better than a bad song. Yes, I rather take silence than a bad song. And this is actually a bad song. I will put a YouTube link in the description down below so you can listen to it yourselves. If you don't understand the lyrics, don't bother. Just listen to the sort of boring way he pronounces it. And you will get lost in the translation. I promise you. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.